Hi folks, Rolly Platt here. I'm doing another pedal review. Today I've got the Universal Audio Dream 65 Reverb amp pedal. Long name, great pedal. This is a premium pedal, be forewarned. It's not cheap. But let me tell you at least what it is and what I think of it, and I'm going to let you hear it as well. The pedal is a combination of pedals. It's an amp simulator. It also has a couple of some parameters that you can change on that. And it is also a reverb pedal. And it is also a tremolo pedal, which I didn't realize until I started playing around with it. So just to let you know what I'm using here, I'm going straight, my bullet mic straight into the pedal, which is going straight into my recording software, preamp or whatever, into my computer. But I'm using no plugins, right now I've got nothing on the harp. This is what it sounds like. So dry as a bone, not too pleasant. It sounds just like you'd think, like as if you're going straight into a PA. This is a pedal that you would use not so much to go into an amp, I'm sure you could, but it kind of defeats the purpose. It's a replacement for an amp, so you could use it if it's set up correctly to go straight into a PA with no amplifier, as long as you got good monitors, which is the key. And this is with the amp setting on and a little bit of reverb. Let me turn the reverb down a bit because I'll talk about that separately. So not overly dirty, kind of bitey sound. So first of all, you can turn the speaker emulation off completely. That's that one here. Still sounds pretty good. And there's one option. These are all labeled and sort of modeled after certain speakers and certain amps and things like that. I'm not going to get into all the details on it. To me, those are interesting to read, but it's what it sounds like for your playing. Like what do you like it to sound like? A little more MIDI. So again, depending on your mic and your preference. And there's also this control over here. They're calling it lead on this setting. This one is it says stock. It's a little bit cleaner. These are all very subtle changes. If you're watching this review, like any reviews that I do, especially, do yourself a favor. If you're on a phone, you're not going to hear the difference. You really won't hear some of the subtleties in this. So you get a Bluetooth speaker or hook it up somehow to a decent speaker so that you can actually hear the best you can, hear the sound quality. There is also a boost knob on here, which I actually have off completely. So let me just show you what it does. So to me, it takes time to get to know each pedal and the little idiosyncrasies with the different volume versus boost versus the output gain. I had that completely off. I might have it on a little bit. My only complaint on the pedal, I'm riding the treble very low, and I'm riding the bass very high. And I'm wondering if that's because this was probably designed for guitar players, but I don't find that quite this, with other pedals that are designed for guitar players, I don't see that issue as much. It certainly works where I have it here, but I just find if you turn them up, like in the middle, we'll say, I'm not 100% sold, but it sounds a little bright to me. So I'm going to put them back where I had them. Now, that's basically the amp. The reverb is fabulous. Like, it's really, really good. I'll turn it up more than I would ever use it, but just so you can hear the quality in the decay in this. I mean, that's really high. I've had a few different reverb pedals, some that I thought were really good until I heard this one. This is as good as I've heard. It's as good as my software, the plugins that I use, which are high quality, reverb plugins. The plugins have more control and parameters that you can dial in and out. This is basically, because it's a sort of a combo pedal. The reverb is just one knob where you just dial it in. But the cool thing is whatever they've done in this, it's a great reverb, and then you just bring in as much as you want. So there's off. It's really, really nice. Can't say enough about it. Because of the presets button, you can set up those parameters however you want them through the amp, using the amp settings, the amount of reverb, and then save it, and save multiple, I believe. I haven't looked into how far you can go with that. But the other cool thing that you can do with this is connect it to their app via USB and download additional sounds. And there's preset pro players that have designed settings that they use or like, and you can use them, and you can probably tweak those settings if it's similar to TC Electronic does the same type of thing. And I think that's great because you got the physical hardware here, and then you can actually tweak. If you're a nerd about it, and I've done it myself and get into it, tweak the small details until you get it exactly what you want, save it to the pedal, save it as a preset, and away you go. So there's one last thing on this, and that's the tremolo. So the tremolo is sort of controlled by the same knobs, but I guess they become active when you turn it on. And tremolo was something that I never paid any attention to for years. I had it in some of the amps that I had. And I thought, well, I can do that same idea myself. And you can. But what's different with a good tremolo pedal is it's that uniformity that's always there. It's always the same frequency, speed, and dynamic of it. And there's something different about that if you play around with it, any pedal that I use, I never just sort of turn it on and play the way I normally do. I always experiment with the pedal, listen to the pedal, and kind of find out what it does, what it likes, and what it doesn't like. What is it like that I can do, and then start playing those things. Like embellishing with. Well, that's kind of cool, doing the swell. Using that tremolo, it'd be very difficult to do that as uniformly as the pedal does it. I mentioned before, it's a premium pedal, so you're going to have a heart attack when you see the price probably. I use some less expensive pedals and like them very much. And on stage, I don't know if it's actually going to be, you're not going to hear maybe the difference that you would in an environment like this, where it's just me playing in a sort of studio setting. But having said that, I like to treat myself sometimes and, get into the gear, buy maybe not everything that way, but I'll buy a couple things that are like the top end or as much as I can afford. Just to have that little extra something. And most things are like that. It's 80% is the easy part. It's the last little bit that makes a difference on vintage amps, microphones, all that stuff. They all work. They all sound pretty good in the right hands. But a great amp or a great microphone in the right hands makes that 10 or 15% difference that you don't get with standard stuff.